Charlie was a great listener. Charlie listened to people. He gathered consensus, and he brought people together to make dreams happen.
He's very witty, but he has a great sense of humor.
Originally, I'm from Lawrence. I started in Independence, Missouri at Truman High School. I went from there to Topeka, and from Topeka I went to Shawnee Mission. I left there and went to Basler Linwood. I saw that as an opportunity to move up, and I became superintendent. So it was one of those things, it's an act of God, I guess.
When Mr. Edmonds came, we were in such a growth period. I think Goddard may have been one of the leading growth cities in the state of Kansas.
When I started here, they just opened up the new high school, which was Goddard High School, and they had opened up the semester before. And we had enrollments coming in, about 200 to 300 kids a year. And we had to do something. And one of the plans was when I became principal, was to add a second middle school. We had a bond, and we voted to expand the middle school to where we were in Discovery and what is now Goddard Middle School, south of the high school. And opened up Eisenhower Middle School. We hired one staff member. Charlie was very, very creative during change. Charlie had a sign up in his office, and it says, "Change happens whether you wish for it or not," something to that deal. And change, if you could not adapt to change, this was not the organization for you. Enrollments would go up, class sizes would go up, and we stayed ahead, we were able to stay ahead of the growth. But still at that time, there was a lot of pain when you have to do things differently.
When I first came here as superintendent, the entire staff met in the old, it's now Discovery, and they had that little theater in there, yeah. And when I retired, we basically filled Goddard High School's auditorium.
There was a time, I couldn't tell you, when the district was challenged by an organization that brought a group of kids in that were juvenile offenders. There was some acts that weren't kid-centered, and they were, in my opinion, acts to try to intimidate or try to sway the community into thinking these kids were less than deserving of a quality education. I remember Charlie and the Board of Education standing up for what was best for kids and not what was easiest. And as a result of that, I recall having some of those students in class. I think for Charlie, that couldn't have been easy, looking back on that. And that turned into a very successful program, which eventually turned into Goddard Academy.
Well, I think he gave his best to Goddard for the entire time that he was here. He worked hard. He was at work every day.
Charlie never took credit for anything. If you were in charge of something and it went well, Charlie gave you credit. If it failed, he was right next to you, helping you, supporting you to get through that.
Charlie did great things for this district, and at the time, I'm not sure people realized it. But I go back to what Dr. Henry said, and that is he set this district up for a long-term success. I don't think you can think of Goddard in the years of growth when it hit and not think of Charlie Edmonds.
I think one of the reasons Charlie deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because he was such a fashion icon.
He had a pair of white shoes that he loved. And when he first came to Goddard, there was paving on Goddard Road. Every day he would walk across Main Street in his white shoes going through there. So anyone that'll do that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, this is my home, and it means a lot. It means a lot to have had the support of the community on everything. And I drive around and I look and I think we did a good job.